Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Rangers franchise here on MLB 21 The Show. Today the AL West leading Rangers come in and take on the second place in the AL East Blue Jays as the Blue Jays try to keep pace with the New York Yankees in the AL East. Andres Angel gets the call for the Rangers. He's had a rough stretch losing back-to-back games, so he hopes to bounce back. And he started off this game pretty nicely with 2 strikeouts in the first as there he gets Miles Straw, and then there George Springer, the former Astro, goes down trying to get that slider. However, in the top of the second, trouble would strike as Cavan Biggio sends that one into left field, putting 2 runners on with only 1 out. However, Angel would respond against catcher Reese McGuire as McGuire goes down trying to get that inside slider, and then that would be it for the inning. Meanwhile, Nate Pearson, who's been exceptional for the Blue Jays this season, gets the start on their end, and then Tristan Ziegler, the former top prospect, bloops that one into right field as he starts the inning with a lead-off single. We haven't seen much from Ziegler throughout this season because of an injury, so hopefully this is the start of seeing more of him in this series as Leody Taveras gets a 4-pitch walk there, and then Willie Calhoun gets caught looking at the fastball there as Pearson sneaks that one right by him. Shout out to the umpire there. However, then Nick Solak goes down swinging on 3 pitches chasing the slider, but Willie Adames is not as easy to get out as he sends that one into right field. It hops over the fence, meaning it's a ground rule double, and both runners come home to score. And then Joey Gallo just gets another insurance run there as that one was just slow enough to allow Adames to come all the way from second to score as the Rangers take a 3-0 lead early on here. Now in the top of the 5th, the Blue Jays decided it was their time to respond as Miles Straw smacks that one into center field, getting an RBI double with 2 outs as Angel was starting to get tired at this point of the game and he had to face the heart of the order as Vladdy Jr. up next trying to make an all-star appearance sends that one into left field, and David Dahl's arm is nothing like Joey's Gallo, so he can't gun down the runner. However, after that would be it for Angel's day as Hunter Wood would check into the game. Wood has had an impressive year despite only pitching 13 innings, and here he gets George Springer swinging and missing on the inside fastball there, and then Nick Solak on the full count gets caught looking, gets absolutely obliterated by the curveball by Pearson there, and then Marcus Semien up in the top of the 7th get caught looking at the changeup as some masterful pitching from both sides down the stretch. As then Brett Martin would check into the game. He's been filling into the closer role as Jose Leclerc has been injured, and then here he would run into some trouble as Teoscar Hernandez sends that one into center field, putting runners on second and third, and then after an intentional walk, that would bring up Cavan Biggio in a big spot here. However, he pops out to the third baseman Apostle as Brett Martin gets out of it, and then after a scoreless bottom half of the 9th for the Rangers, that brings us to the top of the 9th where Bo Bichette trying to get something going. However, he swings and misses at that one, and then on the drop third strike, Ziegler gets it over the first baseman as that's it for this one as your Texas Rangers continue their winning ways as they even the series, and they would go on to win the series against the Blue Jays. As now we are going to be talking about the All-Star break as we're finally at that point of the year, going over the standings, the stats, the All-Star teams, the home run derby, the whole shebang. So starting off with the All-Star teams, as you can see, they're going to be scrolling by on your screen right now. And as for the notable All-Stars, so really just the ones from the Rangers, Carlos Rodon was the #1 voted starting pitcher in the entire American League, which was awesome to see. And then we also had Jose Leclerc make an All-Star team, which was a real big surprise, and I think that just comes from the fact that more closers get votes than reliever. I thought Brett Martin was more deserving of a spot. And then we actually did have a hitter make it as Willie Calhoun, who has been on fire for the last 3 weeks, played his way into an All-Star appearance, and that's awesome. Exactly what you want to see. So those are all of the All-Stars for the Rangers. Meanwhile, in the home run derby, it would be JD Martinez of the Boston Red Sox taking home the trophy with a huge appearance there. After the All-Star game, it would be the National League coming away with the win, which if you saw their lineup in the screen scrolling by, there was no way the National League wasn't winning that thing. Like Mookie Betts and Acuna were at like the bottom of their All-Stars, so it was just an uneven game to say the least. But now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the standings as we pretty much much reached the halfway point in the season. So in the AL East, it's a tight race, but the Yankees currently have the division lead. Meanwhile, in the AL Central, it's a little bit less of a tight race, as the Twins with 61 wins have the second most wins in the major leagues. However, that doesn't mean that the White Sox are not competing to try and make a wild card spot. Meanwhile, in the AL West, the Rangers and Astros currently tied for first place. Meanwhile, the A's try to hold on as maybe a potential wild card team. And currently, the top teams in the wild card are, of course, the Rangers and the Astros. Then the Blue Jays and the Rays are half a game out. Meanwhile, in the National League, the Washington Nationals have made a bounce back after the last 2 seasons of really struggling. They are now at the top of the division. Meanwhile, the New York Mets, after losing Michael Conforto and Noah Syndergaard, have begun to kind of slip, and the Braves haven't been able to get back to where they were in 2020. And then in the Central, the Milwaukee Brewers, after adding Clayton Kershaw, it's no real surprise that they are dominating that division, but the Cardinals are still strong in the wild card race. And then in the NL West, of course, the MLB's best LA Dodgers, followed by the Padres, and then a surprising resurgence for the Arizona Diamondbacks, as the Padres and Diamondbacks currently holding both of the wild card spots in the National League. So that's it for the standings, as now we're briefly going to talk about the stats for your Rangers. So starting with Willie Adames, he's been great since he's arrived from Tampa Bay. 839 OPS, over 500 slugging, just not really much more you can ask for. It would have been awesome for him to make an all-star team. However, the AL just has a lot of really good shortstops. Nate Lowe and Willie Calhoun continue their excellent seasons, especially Nate Lowe. He's been consistently above an 800 OPS this season. Just great to see. And then Willie Calhoun recently, especially like these last 2 weeks, has been absolutely destroying the cover off the ball. He went from like a 780 OPS to like an 830 with 18 home runs, currently leading the team. And then Joey Gallo has been fine with a 797 and 16 home runs. And then as for the rest of the guys, David Dahl and Nick Solak have both been disappointing, especially Solak, considering Solak is supposed to be the future here, but he hasn't really been impressing me much. And then David Dahl started off this year with a great first month, however, hasn't been good since then. Been in and out of the lineup for Mark Canha, and if you saw, Mark Canha has been doing great. Tristan Ziegler is also down here. That's mostly because he's really only played like 3 weeks out of the entire year, and the first 2, he was awful. He just did not have a good start to his major league career. It was definitely an adjustment from AA. However, he's been much better since coming back off the injury list and getting back those reps in the starting lineup. And then other than that, that's it for most of the players I wanted to talk about in regards to the hitting. Okay, so I'm currently editing this video, and I realized I forgot to talk about Sherten Apostle and Anderson Tejeda. I really quickly wanted to mention that with both of them, they both haven't been great, especially Tejeda, which is a big disappointment because of his A potential. Both of these guys are kind of on a short leash, considering that we have Josh Young ready to be called up in AAA, so don't be surprised if Josh Young gets called up around August. But meanwhile, on the pitching side of things, Carlos Rodon has been absolutely masterful. Not much to say there. Hans Krause and Arihara have been great too. Same thing with Kyle Gibson. Really, our entire starting rotation has been good. As for our bullpen, Joely Rodriguez, Brett Martin, Hunter Wood, and Jonathan Hernandez have all been great. Jose Leclerc has been fine. Would like for him to get his ERA a little bit lower down. And then Sir Anthony Dominguez and Joe Jimenez both look like they've been struggling. Now, Jimenez has been struggling pretty consistently for the entire year, but Dominguez, I just imagine that while simulating, he had a ton of just bad outings because he had like a 2 ERA going into the All-Star break after that Blue Jays game, and then all of a sudden it's ballooned up to like above a 5. So don't know what happened there, but other than that, that's it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next one where we'll be going over the trade deadline. And I don't know if we're going to be making any trades yet, still exploring some, but we'll see. Thank you all for watching.